Hello,
Hi, I'm Andrea,
and I'm Jasmine,
and we're Natural Ewe Yarns.
and this is our Sunday Sip and Stitch.
And we have just decided today that we're just going to record rather than be live.
Yeah, we'd like to go live on Facebook first before uploading to YouTube, but we've just had a crazy day, and we're going ahead with it.
Yes.
So we hope you have something to stitch and something to sip.
Cheers.
Cheers! So, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, we can briefly mention what's on our needles.
Right, there's going to be what we're wearing,
Yes.
what we're knitting, and some yarns that we're excited about.
Yes.
Okay.
So, start with yours.
What's on my needles?
Yes.
Well, we are in our summer socks, and I've chosen one of 3 patterns from the Shorty Sock pattern set by Summer Lee Designs. I chose the Palm Squad sock. It is like an ankle sock, and I chose to use 2 minis in order to knit it. It has this section with slip stitch, which they say creates arch support right there in the middle, and I chose that portion in order to stripe in the next color. So I think it has a really cool
You came
design.
up with a really cool design.
Yeah. I'll let you take a closer look at that. It is me striping it in over 13 rows, but because of the slip stitches, the way that the colors intermingle is really catching, and it creates its own pattern. I'm on my second sock. I am having
second time.
second sock syndrome, and I am just getting to the part where I'm starting my slip stitches for that arch support. So any day now I'll be done my second sock. That's exciting.
This is your second pair, right?
Yes, the first pair I knit for the summer of socks was the fondant socks, which I chose to do in a gradient because, again, you stripe in your color over 12 rows, I believe. I chose minis from the Advent calendar, and it has the Fleegle heel, which was a lot of fun to knit. So I know some people are on their 3rd or 4th pair of socks with the summer socks. I'm very excited for the progress you're making, but I'm a little bit slower.
Well, you finished the ranunculus.
Yes, we're going to talk about that in a minute. Why don't you talk about the socks on your
Okay,
needles?
so I'm on my 3rd pair of socks. My first pair was a pair of shorty socks, also from this pattern, but I did the number B.
Yeah.
It's called. So I used 3 minis and had more than enough to finish the socks.
Mm-hmm.
The second pair I did were the sprocket socks, which I also did with minis, and this will semi-match the sweater that I knit in the second knit along that we did.
A couple of the colors were the same, like the Cosmo red, and was it the green also?
There's green and pink in the other one too, but they were a little bit lighter. But I'm trying to keep my scrappy pieces for my 4th pair of socks and potentially some other things.
And I'm coming out with a scrappy sock pattern in time for winter. They're like house socks. They're slipper socks.
Yes. And so my 3rd pair of socks is this one here. I'll just lay them there. They're called Mad Mix socks.
Can I hold them up for you when you talk about them? Because I don't think they see them quite right.
They're, it's partially, I guess you could use scraps, but I've decided to use 4 different minis. I do like a long leg on my socks, so I'll be doing a longer leg than the pattern has. But each section is not just a different color, it's also a different stitch pattern. And so it's a very interesting pattern, to say the least. And I am coming along pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I'm going to keep my scraps for another pair of socks.
Okay.
So that's the knit along.
Right. And the summer of socks has kept us busy from knitting other things this summer. So one of the things I was able to knit and accomplish is the ranunculus sweater. But instead of making it a long sleeve or a 3/4 length sleeve sweater, I opted for the cap sleeves. Is that what they call them?
Mm-hmm. It's really cute.
Which was in the pattern. You didn't have to make sleeves. So I opted for that version, and I did make it a little bit longer. I'll stand up so you can see. I chose to make it in an organic cotton. So normally it's a crop top, but I wanted it a little longer so I could wear it with a pair of jeans in the fall. And
there's a sundress. You've got a sundress.
Yeah, I'm wearing it with a dress today.
Somebody knocking?
No, it's just my chair.
Oh, okay.
And so I think it's fantastic. I learned a lot of things again on this one, and I forget what they're called. But it was the first thing I ever knit, and I knit it holding merino and mohair double. And so because I know that I learned so much and challenged myself years ago, I thought I should pick it up again.
And I think it's amazing that the pattern is consistently in the top 20 patterns on Ravelry.
Mm-hmm. You'll notice the neckline is very high, and we were talking about when you do plus sizes, because there's a range of sizes, that it tends to be a very wide neck. But this one has a short cast, or
a short
small,
neck version.
A short neck version. I forget the name of the cast on. It's sort of like a provisional in the fact that I used a crochet hook, but different in that, you know, I didn't have to go back and knit down the other side like I did with the provisional.
Right. I think the really cool thing is that with using one yarn, the pattern seems to be more pronounced.
Oh yeah, I really love how I can see the flowers on it this time.
And the other thing that I think is really cool is that it's such a versatile pattern, because you knit with size 5 needles, is it?
I believe it was size 6. I want to say size 6. But
so to me, like,
this is terrible. I don't have the pattern right with me, and now I forget everything. It was fun.
It's a nice loose. It's a nice loose knit, so it's not as hot as some things might be.
Right.
But I think it lends itself to knitting this sweater in just about any yarn.
It does, as long as you get gauge. It was saying, you know, you could use a worsted weight yarn, a DK, or 2 fingerings. I chose to use our cotton candy DK, and I chose, I think it's called Spice. They're all cream tones, but this one has a little bit of blue and a hint of pink in there, like a peachy pink. It goes really well with Carnation, a blue in our GOTS cotton. So
if you wanted to stripe it with something. And it's so soft, like this is not, it'd be great for baby clothes, summer's knits, all kinds of things, I think.
Oh, for sure.
And the other 2 colors,
I used only 3 skeins, and like I said, I made it much longer than it called for.
Which is amazing.
Once
right?
you split for the sleeves, it tells you to knit an additional 8 inches before you start the ribbing and your cast off. And I clearly did almost twice that.
Yeah.
And again, only 3 skeins, and they're $9 a piece, these skeins. So really good yardage, and
very economical pattern too.
this one has hints of purple and lime green. It's called Key Lime, and this one's fun. I almost knit with it because it's got turquoise and a pinky peach tone and purple, and it's called Blossom. So there's just slight variations in the different ones, but like Key Lime goes nicely with purple if you want to do your yoke in a speckle or a solid, and then switch it up for the rest of the bodice.
Yeah.
That's a good
It should be noted that these little GOTS solid cottons are in 50 gram skeins. So if you want to do the entire yoke in a contrast color, you would need 2.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're very, there's a lot of options. And the other thing is I'm wearing my eyelet pop top, which is also a cap sleeve, and eyelet, just simple eyelets in the yoke, and this neckline is a bit looser and wider, though not as big as some.
No.
I think I got a happy medium when I developed this one, and I'm wearing mine over a sundress as well. I did make mine relatively short.
I think it suits.
It suits me. I think that with top-down patterns, the nice thing is that you can decide when it's long enough, and if it's not, you keep knitting.
I didn't try mine on until it was really, really long. I just kept going.
But it looks good.
Yeah, I do like it. And like I said, I can wear it with a pair of jeans in the fall, and not everything has to be crop. Right.
So, but in the, we've got Indian summer coming, but in between we're going to have chillier days, and now there's chillier evenings. So sometimes if you're out for the day, it's nice to have a top along that you can just slip over your sundress or your jeans and, what do they call those? Tank tops.
Yeah.
And you're not too hot. So that's what we've been up to as far as our knits. And the other thing that I've done is I've written a pattern for a tea cozy.
It's lovely.
It is. I really, really had fun developing this pattern. It's been out and it's been test knit. The pattern is on both sides. I wanted it to look like a sweater, so it has the cable in the front. What do I call it again? The Maritimer Tea.
You changed the name quite a bit.
And I'd have to look.
Meant to look like a fisherman's sweater, so I thought you were just going to call it the fisherman's cozy, but you did have maritime something or other at one point.
Yes. So, pending having the final version fixed in the PDF form with a little bit of changes that I need to make and picking an actual title, we will have a tea cozy pattern available as well. The yarn that I used is the Eco Harmony worsted, and this yarn is 55% organic wool and 45% organic cotton. It's a GOT certified yarn, and it's beautiful and soft. I just did the definition in the cables on the tea cozy are quite nice, and I think this would be the perfect blend of fibers for a sweater that is good for the season in between summer and fall, because it's definitely soft and it's going to be absorbent. And
well, the tea cozy makes it look like it would be great for sweaters.
Yeah, I just think that this is a good cardigan, and also I think a good blanket yarn. So the colors that we have at the moment
a nice
are
throw for the cottage or something.
Yeah, a beautiful throw, right? So
sometimes on overcast days, it's hard to remember that there are quite a few more weeks left of summer.
Yeah.
So if you're not ready to knit cardigans yet, that's okay. But a nice throw or afghan for the
cottage.
Yeah, or
porch, deck.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to have a nice, lazy, laid-back day in the summer, read a book, and if it gets a bit chilly, just throw on a little blankie.
So true. Did you show off all the colors?
Yes.
Yeah, because there are some great ones. I really love that plum, the rich purple.
Yes.
I know that we had someone in today.
It is actually called plum. And this one is called indigo, which to me is a little bit different than a true indigo.
Yes, because we dye with natural indigo, of course.
And this one's aqua, which is also a really nice summery color. But, like you've got warm tones like this leaf, it's called, and this one is called, very fitting, sand. So I know that when the tide goes out, it's really nice to go for a walk on the beach.
If you use sand and aqua and indigo in a chevron-like blanket, you could, or something that had natural waves to it, you can make it look like a day on the beach almost.
Yeah.
Could be really pretty. Yeah. Okay.
All right. And I think it's weird doing sip and stitch with people not commenting.
No, but I think I like that we're directing where this is going.
Yeah.
And we're doing a great job. Good job, Mom. When do you expect that your pattern will come out? I mean, you have to name it first. That'll be a shock.
I'm going to say, let's shoot for just after Labor Day. When people are starting to think about being back indoors and maybe needing to keep that teapot hot.
Yeah, a nice cup of tea. Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing like a nice cup of tea on a chilly evening.
There is something we should mention, though, as we have our summer of socks. We're into August, and we had a new sock set of the month. We have a new, I should say. We are doing combined sunrise trails. That's here along the north shore of the Northumberland Strait. And we also have this one which is meant to represent blossoms. We called it Magnolia in Bloom. And it's been quite popular. There are only 3 left at the moment. So
Jasmine has a set put aside and she's going to actually knit. You had said.
Yes.
From one of the patterns for our knit along was this one that had 3 different variations of sock. And the only one that we haven't knit yet of there's 3 different ones, 6 with a variation for each one. And the color in the set of socks actually matches one of the...
Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Pattern socks, and it's called frill, something about frills.
All the frills or something.
All the frills, and around the top edge of the leg band is a little frilly. So if you're wearing shorts or a sundress and you're walking and you need to put on your sneakers, that's a nice little pair, but it's dressed up a bit.
They even showed in the pattern them wearing it inside those clear jelly sandals.
Yeah.
Do you remember those used to be quite popular in the 90s when I was a kid?
Yeah.
They're coming back. Everything comes back. But anyway.
And it's also kind of cool to wear like a little pair of ankle socks like that with a pair of Mary Janes with heels.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
They're a really versatile sock and they're super cute. So if you want to do them like the pattern, we've got the yarn, but for a limited time.
Yeah. Well, and the sock knit along isn't quite over yet either.
No,
so there's
it's going
actually
until
time
Labor
to
Day.
get at least one more pair in if you're
Yes.
interested in joining.
Now, for those of you watching and participating or thinking about participating in the Summer of Socks while it's still going, remember to post to your social media, Instagram, Facebook, whatnot, with the hashtag Summer of Socks and tag us at Natural Ewe so that we see and you get a ballot towards our grand prize, which is still a secret.
Yeah. Which is fine because maybe we haven't even dyed it yet. Ooh. So, there are a number of dye plants that are new to me this year from our garden. I planted last year black hollyhocks. Hollyhocks unfortunately only bloom every other year. So this year I also planted some, but I was thrilled to harvest some of the black hollyhocks from what I planted last year. And they so far have eco-printed beautifully in a really nice blue, and I have taken quite a number and dried them, so I will down the road be playing at dyeing yarn with those as well.
Yeah, we can't wait for that.
Yeah, and the other addition to the garden that was slightly different is black bachelor's buttons. And so they too have eco-printed nicely, and I'm waiting to see what kind of dye they produce for yarn. And this year we have more coreopsis. So yes, I've eco-printed with the coreopsis, and I've also eco-printed with some of our blossoms on our smoke bushes, amongst other things. And I'm looking forward to actually having enough coreopsis to make a dye bath or use them in a wrap or something.
You did a little bit, but it's a special colorway that we were thinking or hoping Tracy's rolling yarn truck would like.
Right.
You did a little bit, and we got to see the beautiful orange that makes on the yarn.
Yes.
So looking forward to the end result for sure.
Yeah. And
but if you'd like, it's hard with your eco prints because each one is unique. They do turn out, even if you're using the same stuff with the same kind of pattern.
each flower is unique.
You get a new one-of-a-kind item at the end. So a lot of the cotton long shawls are not on the website yet, but if you do want to see some of these eco prints and get your hands on some, I have uploaded the silk scarves. They're a little shorter, but decorative and beautiful. And you can really showcase them by using the pewter shawl pins.
Oh yes, we have Atlantic pewter shawl pins.
You put it around your neck like a shawl, and you overlap the two ends. You put the shawl pin and you pull the silk scarf through the hole, and you put the shawl pin behind it in order to lock it in place.
And it secures it, yeah, and it really
really stunning.
Stands out from the shawls. So that was a lot of stuff that we have been working towards, and of course, yes, I'm busy eco printing, but I haven't had time to sew. So I will be sewing various different things with the fabrics that I produce over the course of the winter. And we will, of course, keep you posted on when that things are completed and available in store and online.
Right. Andrea feels pretty strongly that we don't have enough bags yet for the upcoming Woolstock East.
That's in September.
It is organized by Sisterhood Fibers, so
yeah,
I wasn't
Faith does a wonderful job.
Wasn't completely off there, but we do have quite a few that we will be bringing in case you want to get your hands on them.
Yes, and if I manage to make more, I will bring more.
But they are a limited edition item. They aren't, top priority. So when we make them, they're super special.
Because we concentrate on the yarn, right? So the bags are kind of an extra.
And if you're watching today, thank you very much for viewing. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. But go back and check out our other podcast, The Year of Adventurous Knitting, where we're doing weekly updates on our summer of socks.
And there's hints and tricks for the various different patterns that we've introduced. It's not just all one pattern. And it's there's links with each posting of the videos.
In the show notes, there's there's links to patterns that are mentioned or certain tutorials that we find helpful so that you can follow along and get the most out of your summer sock knitting.
But the most important thing
I do bring it up because sometimes I think people aren't watching. I mean, I know they are, but sometimes I think they're not, except that this week we ran out of 9-inch circulars.
Yeah.
For the last couple weeks, I've been going on about my favorite way to knit socks is on a tiny 9-inch circular, and we're having a debate about how much she hates it and how much I love it. But somebody's been listening because we don't have them anymore.
I like to work 2 at a time when I can, but I use 2 circulars. I use one for the top of the sock and one for the front of the leg, one for the back of the leg, which ends up being the top of the foot and the sole. And I find that I can see where I'm at. They're both the same length. Actually, I feel really good about the progress I've made on these because I think I started this week.
I did that with my the fondant socks, and you do feel good that you're doing them 2 at a time. You're not going to get stuck in sock syndrome, and it does feel like you've really come far.
Yeah, look at these though; they pucker in. Some of the, I think that you really need to block these ones because the various different texture patterns do pull in your socks. So when you discover that, if you like a tighter sock, then you would maybe knit more of that pattern and fewer of the ones that are a bit looser. But what do you think of the color combo?
Well, I like the color combo.
This one here still needs green, and this one here still needs the bright yellow.
You said it reminded you of Easter, though. That's not where my mind went, but I can see why you're saying that. They're just soft, happy colors.
Well, they're really nice garden colors too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Someone posted in our Yak group, that's the Facebook Year of Adventurous Knitting. So in the Yak group, they posted a picture of their finished shorty socks, the striped ones, and they did them in ranges of browns.
Beiges and browns.
Using our yarns from the Advent calendar.
And I always think of those as accent. Yeah.
I love the combination.
I always think of the beiges and brown, like the ones that have got more earthy tones like that, as like a complementary color. Mm-hmm. It kind of blew me away to see them paired together and really, really come through and be glorious all by themselves. So, lesson learned.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, even you've got like the darker one with the brighter one, which I may not have actually paired together either.
Really? Oh.
So that's when I thought, well, if everybody else is doing crazy colors, I'm going to do crazy colors, and I came up with it.
I don't think this is crazy at all. I think this is totally a normal thing to do.
So everybody was normal, and I really did go crazy.
No, I think it's nice. Color selection can be hard because you love all the colors. And I think when you're buying yarn, it's hard too because you don't want to buy too much and you want to get a little bit of each, and then you don't know what to do with some of your one skein wonders. The great thing about natural dyes is the way that all the colors tend to play into each other.
Yeah, like even this,
because they're colors from nature. Sorry, I don't mean to
they
interrupt.
seem to go together. Mind you, there are some flecks of yellow in the magnolia.
Well, I do believe that you dyed this with goldenrod, no?
No, you know what this is?
Is it marigold?
No, mountain ash tree leaves.
Ah.
Which blew me away because the last time I used it, it was a pale yellow. Then I gave it an after bath and turned it a light sagey green.
Mm-hmm.
And this time, I guess I really had a lot of leaves, or I cooked them longer, I don't know, or the ratio was different, and it gave me this gorgeous yellow.
And the little bit of yellow you see in the other one is from marigold.
Yes.
And that's why I assumed that they were very similar.
Yeah, which is also kind
But
of...
what I'm trying to say is that colors from nature tend to complement just about everything. So if you are thinking about doing a bigger project, but you want to incorporate one of your stash yarn, definitely reach out to us. Either bring it in with you when you're in store or reach out to us online. There is a messenger button on our website which links directly to our Facebook Messenger, and we will respond and help you match up colors.
Yeah, we love doing that.
Mm-hmm. That was something we did want to talk about today. Reuse, environmentally friendly, talk about where things are at.
We didn't even get to that. Yeah.
No, what?
There's been a whole lot of horrible natural disasters everywhere on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be getting worse.
It seems worse.
It feels worse
lately. Yeah.
And it's not just happening out in the wilderness. It's now happening in more residential areas. Here in Nova Scotia,
we were hit with wildfires like crazy following the Hurricane Fiona, and then
there was quite a big gap in between those
yes,
two.
Yes, but it did feel like the fires were worse because of Hurricane Fiona and all the downed trees. We lost millions of trees.
Yeah.
And then just a few weeks after they got the fires under control, there was massive flooding and a few people lost their lives, and it was
that was
really
Yeah, and so, it's interfering with infrastructure. There were people that lost their homes.
I'm sure you're all aware of the fires that have just ravaged
Hawaii.
There's some raging in Poland and other places, Greece. It's pretty bad.
It's worldwide. It's like, I think there's over 1,000 active fires in Canada alone. But we get mudslides and hurricanes and tornadoes and flooding and droughts, and they seem to be getting more pronounced.
And as things get a little bit worse, or seem to get worse, people are getting a little less kind with each other at the same time.
I think everybody's sort of on edge, even if it's on a subconscious level.
So saying buy more yarn maybe feels a bit disingenuous to me, except that what we're trying to promote is a maker lifestyle and an environmentally conscious outlook on all things.
So that is, of course, encompasses tons of different things that each person can try to adapt with, as far as carpooling or growing your own vegetables or
supporting the small farmers that do grow the vegetables, etc.
A lot more buying local, supporting smaller businesses that aren't out there with the chimneys of coal burning ovens going. And
well, I think the fossil fuel industry is responsible for a lot of the environmental effects we're seeing, the climate crisis. So basically, we have to sort of change how we support mass corporations. At least that's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, and I agree, because while the little guy tries to make a difference, sometimes it feels like the big guy isn't making an effort at all. And so if you know of a small business that's organic or natural or handmade as opposed to mass-produced and doused with chemicals, then I think that the way to be helpful for the planet is to actually support those businesses.
And I think it ties into what I was saying about people not being kind to each other anymore. I think if you share the love in small gestures like that, even if you can't purchase from a small business, but you recognize them, so you leave a comment or you tell a friend about them, I think that's part of passing on the love and building a sense of community.
Yes. And I know when people come into our shop, we try to tell them about other local businesses that are here in town and encourage people to become patrons of theirs as well. and the just the overall wholesomeness of going to farmers markets and supporting all the makers and yeah.
We have wonderful ones here in Nova Scotia.
And
I think that's one thing that we, I don't know if we've said it enough online, but it's one thing that we've noticed since moving here to Nova Scotia is that there is a lot more community-oriented, like-minded people who are supporting small business and also supporting
each other.
And the farmers markets are just wonderful and a great indication.
There's a lot of small business people that actually have vendor spots at the markets in a hope to grow. We did that ourselves, and there are people that recycle things and have them available as well, which is another aspect.
All that aside, we do what we do with natural dyes because we want to promote a more natural, sustainable outlook, and then we carry only things that are environmentally friendly, and we mean by that sustainable and biodegradable and haven't been harshly treated with synthetic fibers, which are a lot of the time petroleum based, or chemical treatments for superwash. You know, we try to go a healthier route and let people know that when they're shopping with us that that's what they're doing as well, because
and with the GOTS, which is Global Organic Textile Standard, Jasmine, you equated that to the coffee, right? So it's like,
because a lot of people don't know what that means, but
there's a little symbol on some yarns, like this green circle with a white t-shirt in it, and it represents certification of Global Organic Textile Standard.
Right, but I mean, saying the words, some people don't know what that means, but it means everything from the process of how, if say it's wool, the animals are treated and raised and handled, how the workers are treated fairly and paid a fair wage, to how things are processed, you know, water treatment facilities, and the if they're dyed chemically, then they're you know, not harsh chemicals. Like, it's everything in the process to reach that certification, and it's really hard to get that certification. So I know a couple years ago we were searching for GOTS yarn to dye as a base, but also just to offer to our customers, and we couldn't find it, and now it's more prevalent.
Yeah, and there's more and more of it, and I think that in a capitalist society, if you're buying it, they will produce more.
It definitely
is part of the sustainable living movement, right? So we can all help to shift things in a more healthy direction in all kinds of different ways.
Don't mean to harp on about it, but it is kind of our mission statement. It's why we do what we do, and we hope that it didn't feel like a lecture or boring to you, but we just thought, I know that it's gotten me down lately. Yeah. And so I wanted to talk about why we offer what we offer.
I think that some people don't realize. I think more and more people are becoming aware that it needs attention and something done about it, and not everyone knows all the different little things that can be done.
Well, I think it's really frustrating too, because the government really ought to be doing more about it, but they're sort of lobbying for the interests of these larger corporations, and that sort of makes everyone feel a little hopeless that they're not acknowledging it, or they acknowledge it but they're not doing enough about it.
So it's grassroots type things where if you're not supporting the things that are not good for the environment, and it's not going to make people money, then less of it is going to become available, because why would they keep trying to push stuff nobody wants? Anyway.
Good way to sum it up. Anyway, I just dropped yarn off the table.
There is a blogger and a website. It's called My Green Closet.
Oh.
And it has information on various different companies that have more environmentally friendly clothing, different craft supplies, all kinds of things, and all kinds of information as well. So if you find that kind of thing interesting, maybe you should check that out. I haven't had enough time to actually be able to speak on it overly much, but I did really like what I did see. So
I'll link that in the show notes because I
Okay.
think that's important.
Yeah.
And I think maybe I'll link some articles about GOTS too in case you guys want to know some more. And for example, we do superwash, but we have a recycled yarn that is a superwash merino, nylon, and viscose. And in that way, we offer you those things. Our favorite base, or one of our favorite bases, the GOTS to Have It, was a GOTS certified yarn that came to us undyed. And since we're just a small family business, we don't have the certification of GOTS because it's a hard thing to get. But we are all organic. Our waste from our dye pots ends up back in our garden. And we grow vegetables out there. So
yeah. And more dye stuff.
So what I'm trying to say is this base is a GOTS base. We've dyed it naturally, and it is a superwash base. It's been treated with the Schuler XP method, which is a new patented technology that descales the wool using a process of oxidization with, I believe, salt rather than chemicals. And rather than coating the whole thing in a resin, it just fills in certain areas in order to make the yarn strong, because those were the parts that were stripped away.
And I try to explain it to people and I never say it right. So for all of you that have been in here and heard me talk about how great this yarn is, and
it is great.
superwash, it is great. I just don't know how they get there. I know it's not.
Do you know why we don't know how they get there? Because they are super tight-lipped about it. And it's like us. A lot of people have said, why don't you do video tutorials, workshops, or video tutorials online about how you're achieving these colors, because we don't understand how you get so many different natural colors on one base. And we don't want to give up our secrets because it's what you spent years learning and
playing around and getting to.
And it's what makes us a little bit different and sets us apart. And so in that way, we don't want to be copied. And for a large organization to have finally broken the mold on how to do this in a really, really environmentally friendly way that is both GOTS certified and blue sign, which is another form of organic, I think that they're a real hush about it. But it's really good. So if you want to knit with our yarn, but you want to be sure that the person you're knitting for might not have an oopsie with the washing machine, you're going to want to go with our GOTS to Have It yarn.
Yeah. So I think that just about wraps it up.
It does, and we shouldn't have one customer interrupt us.
Is that weird? And it took us until now to be able to find time to it's just, you never know when people are ready. So.
Okay, well, until next month. It is the first Sunday of every month, unless it's a holiday.
Wait, one more thing.
Oh.
This Thursday night is Zoom night for all of you that are doing the year of, not the Year of Adventurous Knitting, that's the Facebook group, but those of you who are joining us for the Summer of Socks knit along.
Right. Or have decided just right now you want to start.
Yeah, because you still can.
Mm-hmm.
Please, yes. This Thursday evening at 8 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time.
We're having what we call a maker circle.
On Zoom.
Yeah, it's a Zoom social. We break it up into two sections with an intermission in between. So the starting times are 8 p.m. Atlantic Standard Time and 8:40? No, 8:50. Sorry, 8:50.
Yeah,
Atlantic
something
Standard
like
Time.
that, because we take an intermission so everybody can go and make another cup of tea.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, that being said, we'll have another sip and stitch on the first Sunday of the next month.
No, because that's going to be another long weekend.
So the second Sunday
of September. Yeah.
That's right. Okay. Until then,
be natural, be you.
Be you.